All right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to start off by giving all praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Yahweh, who the world ignorantly calls God, and Yahweh Shai, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And excuse me a moment. And today, I just want to get into a lesson regarding the day of the Lord, man. Okay, because you got these Christians out here, man, that are misleading the people. Let me just grab some water real quick. Right, so these churches out here, man, they're telling the people that when the Lord returns, he's going to return to give out, hugs and give out lollipops and rainbows, is really what they're saying in a nutshell. Okay, to sum it all up, right? What they're teaching. And I've been to the sermons before, so I already know. And then you can pull them up online and watch what they say. These guys are on there saying that it's a great day when the Lord returns, right? And they all look forward to the day of the Lord. Let's go to the book of Amos. Bear with me a moment. This will take me a sec to pull it up. Let me just check the front of the Bible because it's a very little book. So just so I can find the exact page it's on. Okay. Almost there. Just bear with me a moment. Okay, I want to go to the book of Amos, chapter 5, and we'll start at verse 18. Okay, so before I read, remember what I iterated. I said that the Christians are out there saying that they look forward to the day that the Lord returns, right? They're looking for sweet Jesus to to come down out of the sky, right? That's what Christians are there waiting for, man, because they teach that when Christ comes, he's coming to save everybody, right? That everybody is going to want to see the Lord. It's going to be a great day when the Lord returns. Well, look at this. This is the book of Amos, chapter 5 and verse 18. It says, "Woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord. To what end is it for you? The day of the Lord is darkness and not light, as if a man did flee from a lion, and the bear met him, or went into the house and leaned his hand upon the wall, and a serpent bit him. Shall not the day of the Lord be darkness and not light, even very dark, and no brightness in it?" Right, so the day that Yahweh Shai, returns, it's going to be a dark day, man. All right, because Christ, contrary to popular belief, Christ is coming to kill a lot of people, man, according to the scriptures. All right, it tells you in, what is that, Second Ezra is one of our favorites, right? Second Ezra 16th chapter. I believe it's the 10th verse. It says what? That the Lord shall threaten, and who will not be utterly beaten to powder. Right, so the Lord is going to beat people. Oh, and this, by the way, this is a cut to mine of God's doctrine regarding the day of the Lord, because if you read all the scriptures that are in the Bible, we're talking about the day of the Lord. It's never plural, right? There's never one where it means more than one. Okay, it's one singular one. Okay, it's one time that the Lord returns. It's not two, it's not three, because that's what they teach. The Lord's going to return one time, but then he's going to return again with his elect. That's what they teach. That's clearly not true, because then I have to ask, well, which one of those is considered to be the day of the Lord then? It just shows you, man, hey, a lot of you cats out there are being led astray, man. Okay, and a lot of guys out there are buying into that wayward doctrine, man. Right, like LOP and this other cat on there. Which, no disrespect to the brothers, I think they're very sincere, but you guys got to be diligent, man. Or you guys are just hearing stuff and you're going along with it. Just like, let me say this, just like rock upon him. What he'll do is he'll be your friend one day, but then the next day, will be friends with someone else and talk shit about you. And I speak from, experience, right? That's what they'll do. They'll be nice with you one day, but then they'll talk shit about you, behind your back, on the stream. You know what I'm saying? And then when you come on, when you didn't watch what happened prior, then they'll be friendly with you. That's just how a lot of guys are, man. Okay, but going back to what I was saying, man, a lot of you guys are being led astray, man, by guys out here like Mind of God, which Mind of God knows a lot of stuff, but he clearly is in error regarding the scriptures because he's saying that the Lord is going to return more than once. That's clearly not in this text. It doesn't say that. It says the Lord returns one time. Excuse me, there's a school bus here. Excuse the noise. But I mean, it's very clear, man. Okay, so the Lord is going to return one time, and that's it. Okay, there are no two comings of Christ. Christ returns one time, and Christ is going to redeem his elect and take down the elite of the world, man. Okay, that's what Yahweh, who the world calls Jesus Christ, is going to do. And that's not going to be two different returns. That's not in the scriptures. Okay, so you guys out there who are falling into that doctrine, man, you guys better check yourself, man. All right, because I was watching Mind of God's live stream, and you got a lot of guys on there who were talking about, his what's the word I'm looking for? Not the word sequel, that wouldn't be the correct word. Sequence. All right, his sequence, right? They were going by the sequence. You had even Flat Earth Boxer was on there, saying that he's going according to Mind of God's sequence. Hey, look, man, a lot of y'all cats are being led astray, man. Mind of God's sequence of the end times are clearly out of whack, man. All right, saying that Christ is going to return 2 times. That's not in the scriptures. And then further on, he says that Christ returns before the Great Tribulation. But then if you go to Matthew 24, verse 29 on down, you know what, let's even get that. Let's even go ahead and get that. Because that ties into what we're talking about here. So let's even read that real quick. Bear with me a moment. Okay. I'm going to start at verse 29. Okay, so Matthew 24, verse 29. But first I want to read verse 27. It says, "For as lightning comes out of the east and it shines even unto the west, so shall also the coming of the Son of Man be." All right, now we'll jump to verse 29. Oh, and real quick, that cuts, what's that cat? That cuts, Samuel Owen, right? AKA the Concave Earth Christians, because he's on there teaching that he is the Christ, right? He's teaching that he is the Christ. So then I asked him, what about this verse here, Matthew 24, verse 27? And he didn't know, right? So he's the fulfillment of all of this, is what he says. But then when you ask him regarding the verses that speak about, Christ returning, he don't know. He's just saying, well, I fulfill that. That's me. Then you ask him, okay, well, when did you fulfill this? How did you fulfill this? Which really, we're just playing games with those guys. Those guys can't be taken seriously. It's really just a damn joke, man. Okay, but, you just got to, play around with those guys. You got to have fun with them. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, let's get serious. Let's go to Matthew 24, verse 29. It says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens they shall be shaken." But let's go back up and read the first few verses, first few words, in that verse. It says, "Immediately after the tribulation of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens shall be shaken." Right, so the point I wanted to bring out was it said immediately after the tribulation of those days. So it doesn't say in the middle, it doesn't say before, it says after. So then what these guys, right, these actors inside joke, what they'll do is they'll say that that the time period of the tribulation and the great tribulation are 2 different time periods. That's clearly not true. That's bogus right there. Okay, that's incorrect. Guys, you see, and this is why a lot of guys, man, are deceiving the people, and they're doing a very good job at it, is they're playing a word game. I'll give an example. I asked him a question regarding the Romans, the 11th chapter. Okay, because there's a verse in there that says that the unbelieving Israelites are also going to be saved through their unbelief. So I asked him about that. Matter of fact, he even did a video on the chapter. But of course, he didn't bring out the verse I wanted him to, which it was a handful of verses. It literally said, all Israel will be saved, and the Israelites who do not believe, they will also be saved. That's what it says in the text. Go read it yourself. So I asked man of God the question, and he didn't really know. He was just saying, well, it doesn't say that. But then he didn't even read the verse I was asking him to read. He just skipped it and read the one above. You know what I'm saying? So these guys are playing games, man. All right, guys are just playing games, and they're very good at it, right? They're very good at telling people false things. Okay, and let me say this. I've known the guy for, I want to say probably, let's see, how long have I known my God for? I want to say a good 4 years. Yeah, I want to say a good 4 years or so. So yeah, man, as long as I, known the guy, he's really been pushing a lot of nonsense, man. But then I got to give him credit, right? Cause I do got to give him credit because he says some stuff which is correct too. Okay, so you do got to give credit where it's due. Okay, but anyway, let's get back to what we were reading. It says, verse 30, it says, and then, then, it doesn't say before the tribulation, it says after the tribulation, the Lord will return. It says, and look, and then shall appear the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then all the tribes of the earth shall mourn. Slakia. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn, and they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet, and they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the heaven to the other. Right, so when you read this, we clearly see this is taking place after the time period of the tribulation. This is clearly taking place after the Great Tribulation. Okay, it's very clear. And also, I want to back this up, because you got to go precept upon precept. So let me just pull out two precepts to back that scripture up. Let's go to Revelation. First, let's get Revelation chapter 1, and then we're going to go to chapter 6. Revelation chapter 1 and verse 7, it says, behold, he comes with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kingdoms of the earth shall wail because of him. Even so, amen. Oh, and that also cuts the Christianity's doctrine regarding the secret rapture. They call it a secret rapture because they teach that basically, Christ will return, and save, his people, and nobody's going to know it really happened. Well, I mean, hell, that's clearly cut because it says every eye shall see him. Let's also go to Revelation chapter 6. And you'll see why I'm going here. This is literally the exact same thing we read in the book of Matthew, Revelation chapter 6. And let's start verse 12. It says, and I beheld when he had opened the sixth seal, and lo, there was a great earthquake, and the sun became black as sackcloth of hair, and the moon became as blood, and the stars of heaven fell unto the earth, even as a fig tree casteth her untimely figs when she is shaken with mighty wind. And the heaven departed as a scroll when it was rolled together, and every mountain and island were moved out of their places. And listen here, and the kings of the earth, and the great men, and the rich men, and the chief captains, and all the mighty men, and every bondman, and every free man, hid themselves in the dens and in the rocks of the mountains. Let me turn the page real quick. And said to the mountains and to the rocks, fall on us and hide us from the face of him that sits on the throne, and from the wrath of the Lamb. For the great day, that day again, of his wrath is come. And who shall be able to stand? Right, so clearly, going line upon line, precept upon precept, we clearly see that what Matthew was talking about is the same thing that John's talking about. Okay? We can clearly see that these are talking about the same events, which again, keep in mind it said the day. Okay, it said the day. It doesn't say the days. It says the day, meaning one. It's not plural. It doesn't mean two. Okay, so this cuts these guys, man, who are telling you people about this, you know, rapture that's going to take place before the tribulation, and then Christ returns again after the tribulation. That's completely not true, man. That's completely false. Okay, so you guys on there, man. Like, I'm going to say it again, right? Flat Earth Boxer, LOP, this other cat on there. Damn, I forget the guy's name, but, you know, some guys who come around, you know, the comment board every once in a while, man. You know, hey, you guys got to be diligent, man. All right, because you guys are just believing what you're told. Which, again, I'm not at all, you know, trying to put the brothers down or anything, right? Because I respect those brothers. I think they're very sincere, of course. But I'm just saying, man, that you guys got to, you know, up your game, man. Or you guys are just believing things to believe it. Okay? I don't see how, you know, mind of God's doctrine regarding, you know, this rapture that could happen any time now. Oh, and in fact, hold on a second. He said that Christ is going to return in 2021. That's his words, not mine. So if that does not happen, then hey, look, ETT told you so. Okay, ETT told you that wasn't going to happen. Now, let me say this. Christ is going to return after the Great Tribulation and after certain prophecies are fulfilled in the Scriptures. So Christ cannot return today because the prophecies haven't been fulfilled. Okay, but then when those prophecies are fulfilled, then Christ could return at any time. Okay, so yes, Christ could return at any time, but only after the certain prophecies come to pass. And as we read, going back to the book of Matthew, only after the tribulation of those days can Christ return. Okay, so it's not like these, you know, Christians are talking about, saying that Christ could return right now. And that's what Mind of God's saying, right? That Christ could return to redeem his elect right now. That's not true. That's clearly incorrect. So as I said, man, a lot of you guys in the comment section, man, you guys are weak. Okay, you guys are just, you'll believe whatever you're told. And this is even in the scriptures. Scriptures speak about those who are being, you know, sifted by every wind of doctrine. Meaning what? Every doctrine, every teaching. Right, guys just hear things and believe it because that sounds cool, right? So that's why they want to believe it. But then they don't do the research on it themselves. That's why the scriptures say to study to show yourself approved, man. Okay, study to show yourself approved, right? Study to make your doctrine clear. Okay, don't just believe somebody because they cherry picked a handful of verses and put it together and said, well, see, I figured it out. Which is a lot of these guys, that's what they're doing, man. I mean, you have, what is it, ISUPK, I believe, or LUIC? Yeah, LUIC, they teach that there will be no tribulation. There will not be any Jacob's trouble, which Jacob's trouble is just another word for saying the Great Tribulation. Okay, and that's in, what is that, Daniel 12th chapter. Okay, but it's very clear, man. Right, it's very clear in the scriptures, and we haven't even went too deep. We just got a handful of precepts, and it's already, you know, it's already clear, man. Bear with me a moment. Let's see. Let's go to let's pull it up here. Book of Zephaniah. Let me just pull up the page real quick. It'll take me a minute to do so. Okay, the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 14. Okay, the book of Zephaniah, chapter 1 and verse 14. Let me just check real quick to make sure the video's up and running okay. Okay, good. Anyway, it says, the great day, the great day, not the great days, it says the day, the great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and hasteth greatly, even the voice of the day of the Lord. The mighty men shall cry there bitterly. That day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness, a day of trumpet and alarm against the fenced cities and against the high towers. And I will bring distress upon men, and they shall walk like blind men, because they have sinned against the Lord. And their blood shall be poured out as dust, and their flesh as the dung. Neither shall their silver nor their gold shall be able to deliver them in that day of the Lord's wrath, but the whole land shall be devoured by the fire of his jealousy, for he shall make even a speedy riddance of all them that dwell in the land. Right. So, I mean, that's clear as day, man. Okay, and the point I'm going to keep, harping on, for lack of better words, is it says the day. It doesn't say the days, it says the day. And that's a very key point, because that's a clear, spear through the heart, in a metaphorical term. Okay, these doctrines out here, saying that there's multiple comings of Christ. That's clearly not true. I mean, it's completely through, man. Okay, just going by those handful of precepts, it's clearly cut. Okay, so as I said, man, you brothers out there who are, just believe in what you're told, man. You guys better check yourself, man. Okay, don't just believe guys because they come on the internet and, talk stuff. They have smooth words. Bear with me a moment. Right, you don't want to, just follow them because they say so. Right, or even like these guys like Sakari, man, they have a big following. Like 20,000 followers. But that shows you, man, that they're teaching stuff that the world likes. Okay, because people of the world are following them. But the scriptures tell you that the real doctrine of the scriptures is going to be offensive. But what is that? If you go to Matthew 11:6, it says what? And blessed is the man who is not offended in me. Right, so wait a second. If the doctrine that Christ came to teach is not offensive, well, what the hell would he even say that for? Because the Christian doctrine, first of all, why the hell would anybody hate you and persecute you for teaching a loving God, man? Okay, this sweet Jesus, which, don't get me wrong, I know it is true that the Lord does love. That's true. Okay, so that should not at all be avoided when we speak. Of course, that's true that the Most High does love, but it is also true that the Lord does also hate. Right, so we got to teach an even balance, unlike the church, because the church will completely skip over the last part. Right, they'll say that God just loves. They'll never mention anything about the Lord hating. That's all despised in the church. Nobody talks about that. Why? Because the Christian doctrine is the false doctrine. First of all, Christians have Christianity has what is it, like 2.5 billion followers around the world. That is an insane amount of people, because a billion is a million 1,000 times. Look that up. Okay, you can do the math on all that. Okay, it's insane, man. Or the scriptures say that the truth is a narrow way. If you go to, what is that? 2nd Ezra's 7th chapter, Matthew the 7th chapter. All right, and you can read about that. Or this isn't for many people, man. Okay, anyway, I digress. Let's go to the book of Isaiah, chapter 24. So as I said, man, this clearly, these guys are getting cut, man. These guys out here that are teaching, this pre-plague rapture, pre-tribulation rapture, man. Even though they all have their own little kinks to it, so to speak, they all have their own little differences within their doctrine. They're all still teaching one thing that's the same, as they're giving a false hope to the people, man. Telling you, just like, I'll give an example, man. I remember back in school, right? I was talking with somebody about, about the scriptures, and they were talking about how the church is not going to be here on the earth, when these calamities take place, right? They'd say that Christ is going to rapture them from that, such as the MOB, which is by far the most important thing that we are to speak about to the people. Okay? Which you got to watch the words you use on here now. But anyway, I was thinking to myself, man, this person don't know what the hell they're talking about. Which, of course, you ain't going to say anything, but you know how it is, man. Okay? Just shows you, hey, just got to be happy you're not in the same boat, man. Okay? Scriptures say many are deceived. Okay, in fact, the scriptures tell you in the Apocrypha, there's a verse that says, many have deceived themselves by their own vain thoughts and opinions. Right, and that's how one deceives themselves, is by having a vain opinion on something. Okay? And let me give an example. Guys will be out there saying that, I don't think a child can be considered to be a adult at 12 or 13 years old. Well, that's your opinion, because that doesn't line up with human biology. All right, according to human biology, if these human beings can reproduce, meaning they can have offspring, meaning they can be parents to children, that means that they are, biological deduction, that they would have to be an adult then, if they can be a parent to a child. And that's just according to human biology. Okay, that at what point can at what point does a person change from being, they call them adolescents? At what point does an adolescent become a adult? At what point is the cutoff? And you see, there is none. It's just a fabrication. Someone just made up on this particular day of this particular year. You changed. That's clearly bogus, man. That's not even logical to believe that. Everyone just believes it because that's what they've been told. But of course, nobody's actually able to go into science and to prove these statements to be true. You know why? Because these statements are most certainly not true. That's why they can't be supported by proof. Anyway, I digress. Let me get back into what I was speaking of. And this is going to be a long video. Okay, this is probably going to be like a 40-minute video here. Okay, but hey, the information is getting out, man. Okay, so hey, don't believe these deceivers out here, man. Okay, because they're leading you all astray, man. Okay, and that's a very sad thing, man. Right, the people are being led astray. Right, like a lot of you guys out there, I said it before and I'll say it again, man. A lot of you guys are thinking that you're not going to have to go through any troubles, man. Or you're not going to have to go through the time of the tribulation. Because they say that, Jesus is going to come save them before things get bad. I mean, hell, man. We're already in the tribulation for the most part. So where is this Jesus at then? And the answer is he ain't coming. You know why? Because Christ is coming after the tribulation. And we read it. Anyway, I digress. Let's go to Isaiah chapter 24. We'll start at verse 1. It says, Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be, as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken his word. Bear with me a second. Right, and this is going into the time that we're in right now, man. Right, the mirth of the land is gone. Right, which hell, man. America is done, man. This place is through. I remember watching somebody was doing a video down in Houston, Texas, which ironically enough, that's where Mind of God's at. He lives down there. But anyway, they were walking through some of the the convenience stores, for lack of better words. They were going through the area with the shopping centers, and they were showing, man, literally 9 out of 10 stores on one block are abandoned and shut down, man. And this was only a few weeks back. Okay, so it shows you, man, this place is done, man. And that's not my words. It's just, hey, just look at the reality. Okay, we don't need to, pretend it isn't. It just is. Okay, and it just is the way it is, Anyway, I digress. Let me skip to the main point. Let me see real quick. Okay, Isaiah chapter 24 and verse 21. It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that the Lord shall punish the host of the high ones that are on high, and the kings of the earth upon the earth. And listen here, and they shall be gathered together as prisoners are gathered in the pit, and shall be shut up in the prison, and after many days they shall be visited." What is that talking about? Oh, bear with me a moment. Um, that's talking about what? That the Lord's going to send the elect to take out these elites out of their doomsday bunkers, man. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Okay, these elites of the world, these higher ups, are going to flee into their bunkers. And we read about that in, what is that, Revelation 6 chapter, right? They hid in the dens of the mountains. That's talking about these bunkers that they have made in these mountains, man. And you can just look them up, right? They have bunkers out there that they spent hundreds of millions of dollars, to erect, man. Okay, so they're gonna they're gonna hide in there, when this takes place. But the Lord's gonna fish them out. There's another one. Let me see. Let me just check this real quick. This would be a good precept to add in there as well, if I can find it. Okay, I'll bear with me just a moment. Just take me a second to find this real quick. All right, just bear with me, just almost there. Okay, let me see. Okay, yeah, I was right. It was in Amos, the 9th chapter. That's what I was thinking about. I wanted to just get this real quick, because this is a good one, man. This is the book of Amos, chapter 9, and verse 2. It says, "And though they dig into hell," and that also cuts the hell doctrine. Because how can you dig into hell? What is that talking about? The hell is the earth, right? So though they dig into the ground, aka the hell, right? Because the hell is the earth, thence shall my hand take them. Though they climb up to heaven, thence will I bring them down. And how do you climb up to heaven? That's talking about going up in these so-called, spacecrafts, man, right? And these airplanes, right? Because the heaven, and in the Bible, there's multiple different heavens. Heaven can be referring to a petition, excuse my stutter, a position, if I can say the word correctly, a position of rulership, okay? Or it can mean the sky above us, or it can mean the heaven where the Most High dwells. So there's many different meanings for the word heaven in the scriptures. So this one's talking about the sky. It says, "Thence will I bring them down." It says, "And though they hide themselves in the top of Carmel," right, the top of a mountain, "I will search and take them out thence. And though they be hid from my sight in the bottom of the sea, thence will I command the serpent, and he shall bite them." Right, now how do they hide at the bottom of the sea? That's talking about these submarines, right? They have crafts that they can take down to the bottom of the ocean, and they can hide down there, man. And the serpent will, according to the scientists, they say that 95% of the ocean floor is unexplored, man. So who the hell knows, what's down there, man? Okay, and you also can read about a serpent, and what is that? If you go to I want to say Job the 40th chapter, Job the 41st chapter, you can read about that there. It says, "And thence, if though they go into captivity before their enemies, there will I command the sword, and it shall slay them. And I will set mine eyes upon them for evil and not for good." Damn, that's a deep, couple of precepts, man. That cuts the hell doctrine. That cuts the doctrine saying God only does good, not evil. That cuts that, man. Right, damn, that's a deep verse, man. Again, if you want to read that yourself, that's Amos chapter 9, start at verse 2. Anyway, let's go back to the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 16, verse 16. Bear with me a second. It says, Behold, I will send for many fishers, says the Lord, and they shall fish them. And after will I send for many hunters, and they shall hunt them from every mountain and from every hill and out of the holes of the rocks. Right, so we read about how the people of the world are going to be running into the cliffs and the rocks of the mountains. We read about that in Revelation, the 6th chapter. But then it says here in Jeremiah 16:16 that the Lord's going to fish them out and hunt them out of the holes and out of the rocks. So you see how we're connecting all of this together here? Okay, so that's how they're going to be taken into captivity, is they're going to be sought out in these bunkers they're hiding in, and they're going to be taken. And you see, the way I can break this down, you're not going to get this from these Christians, man. You know why? Because you have to go precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, to properly understand this book, man. What is that? If you go to, I want to say Isaiah 28:60, bear with me a second. Isaiah 28:10, right? Precept has to be, precept upon precept, here a little and there a little, right? That's how you properly understand the book. Okay, as you have to go here and there, and you got to jump around. Okay, that's how you properly understand, what this book is talking about, man. Okay, because guys are, a lot of guys don't understand the scriptures, man. I mean, it's evident. Let me just grab a drink real quick. Let's see. I mean, the point's really been made clear, man. Okay, just from all the information that has been, presented. I mean, it's very clear. Okay, that the Lord's going to return one time, which is after the tribulation, by the way, not before. Redeem his elect, and and fish out these elite from where they're hiding, man. Okay, it's all made clear. Okay, this is the way things are going to go down. Okay, so I mean, we really don't even have to get any more precepts, because it's all very clear, man. Right, it's clear and simple. What is that? If you go to Habakkuk 2:2, it says what? Write the vision, make it plain upon tables, that he may run who reads it. Right. So we're making it plain upon tables what this book is talking about, man. Right, we're making it clear that America is mentioned in the scriptures. I mean, how the hell can one read the description of Babylon the Great and tell me that's not talking about America, man? I mean, hell, at this point, even atheists could agree to that. And they don't even believe in a higher power. So that shows you something, man. Oh, just like atheists agree that MOB is that, microchip. Even they agreed to that. Anyway, Isaiah chapter 13. And let's go to verse 9. Okay, Isaiah chapter 13. And we'll start at verse 9. Let me see where I want to read to. Okay, we'll read down. It says, Behold, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. For the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in his going forth. The moon shall not cease her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and for the wicked, and the wicked for their iniquity. And I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and I will lay low the highness of the terrible. I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man more than the, let me read that again, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Right, that's going into the elect, right? The Lord purifying the elect. If you go to, what is that? If you go to 2nd Ezra 16, you go to around the 70th verse, it speaks about what? That there be a time of trouble like never before, and that the ones who fear the Lord are going to be persecuted, man. Okay, and they're going to be tried. Okay, and that's what it's going at there, because it even mentions in the text, if you read it, it says that they'll be tried like gold. Right. Go back to where I left off. Okay, verse 13, it says, Therefore I will shake the heavens and the earth, and shall remove out of her place, and in the wrath of the Lord of hosts, and in the day of his fierce anger. Right, so that clearly, hey look man, and that's clear to the point. Okay, a day of the Lord's wrath and anger. That's not talking about the days that happens. It's one day. Okay, it's one day this happens. It's not 2 days, it's not 10 days. It's not, will, there's a rapture here, then 5 years later, Christ returns again. That's not what it's talking about, man. All right, and that's not what ETT is saying. That's what the text says. Right, so hey, look, as the Deacon would say, right, do you agree with the text? Right, do you agree with the text? Inside joke. But anyway, man, I think that's going to be the lesson there. I just wanted to, shed some light on that topic of discussion, because I see some guys being led astray, man. Okay, but the moral that you can take from the video, man, is, hey, look, man, when Yahushua returns, who the world ignorantly calls Christ, there's going to be some hard times upon the world, man. Okay, Christ isn't coming to be peaceful with everybody. That's not true, right? So we're warning the people now, hey, look, man, you better get right with Yahushua, or you're going to be done, man. Okay, you're hey, look, let me get something real quick. And we bring these scriptures out all the time, but you have to go over it again and again and again. That's how you learn, is by constantly, going over things. That's how you learn. That's how you get more sharp in the scriptures. Scriptures refer to the Bible as a two-edged sword. If we go to, what is that, Hebrews 4:12? It says what? That the word of the Lord is quick and powerful and is like a two-edged sword, right? So this is how you learn, is by constantly going over certain precepts, and it refreshes your memory. Anyway, Isaiah 66 verse 15, it says, for the Lord will come with fire, and with his chariots like a whirlwind, to render his anger with fury, and his rebuke with flames of fire. For by fire and by his sword will the Lord plead with all flesh, and the slain of the Lord shall be many. Right, so the slain of the Lord is going to be many, man. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to do a little video about that, just to get off some precepts on that topic, man, because I saw some brothers are clearly going astray, man. All right, these false guys out here that are teaching like mighty God, a Christian church, telling the people falsehood, man. Okay, so anyway, I just wanted to do that little lesson. I hope that was edifying. If anybody made it this far into the video, let's say put hashtag day in the comment section. That's DAY, day, in the comment section down below. Just in case anyone made it this far into the lesson. But anyway, if that being said, I'm going to end off by giving all praise to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, for this truth. And I'm going to say shalom.